Hi, I'm Crystal from a small town in Alaska. Press like and subscribe. Ever since I was born, I've lived with my rich uncle and aunt and 5 girl cousins. But they've always made me feel like I didn't belong with them. For starters, all my cousins had blonde hair and blue eyes, and I had dark curly hair and brown eyes. They always said I wasn't pretty enough to be part of the family. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the ugliest of them all? Crystal! Your eyes are the color of poop, and look at your hair. I wonder how many birds sleep inside that nest. They were the meanest, but I had no one else. And I swear, I always thought our town was the only place on earth until I saw my cousin's geography book. And that's when I was 7. You see, my aunt and uncle wouldn't even send me to school and just kept me on my toes all day doing house chores. But I'd secretly taught myself to read. I began reading more and more, and all that knowledge just amazed me. One time, when I was 16, my uncle found me reading my cousin's books, and he instantly snatched them from me.
Do you have any idea how expensive these are? And you're using them for free!
Why are you always so awful to me?
'Cause you're kinda weird, and not really one of us.
I pushed him aside and ran out of the room. I just hated it here. A few weeks later, it was Christmas, and I found 5 huge gift boxes under the tree, and another one the size of a matchbox. Of course, that was mine, and all it had inside was a pinch of salt. Just a reminder to add the right amount of salt while cooking our meal. Everyone laughed, and I felt like smashing their heads into the wall. While I was busy cooking, a lawyer visited our house. Curious, I followed him to the study, and when I heard his conversation with my aunt and uncle, I was shook.
That girl, Crystal, is worth billions. If you want to keep the money her parents left, you should legally adopt her.
Wait, what? I was a freaking billionaire? As soon as the lawyer left, my aunt came running into the kitchen and literally carried me away to the lounge. I was made to sit in Uncle's armchair while he snatched all my cousin's presents and gave them to me.
You, girl, give Crystal a foot rub. You, the other one, make her a hot chocolate with extra marshmallows. And the rest, we're changing the dinner menu to all of Crystal's favorites, and you're cooking. Now, chop chop.
Wow, just wow. All of a sudden, I was loved and pampered to bits. I decided now was the time to get the one thing I really wanted, going to school. Oh, sweetheart, no. School is such a dangerous place for girls. But all my cousins are girls. They are morons. They're not as precious as you, Pumpkin. We'll get you the best tutor. Well, that was better than nothing. At least I'd get to learn. But the next night, while I was getting water from the kitchen, I overheard them talking.
How long do we need to pamper that ugly duck? Don't worry. Once we get her money, we'll ship her off to some orphanage. Who even wants that hairy kid? Ew.
God, I knew they were being nice to me because of my money. But these greedy jerks weren't even planning to let me stay. That very night, I packed my bags and ran away, taking the first train out of our town. On the train, an old lady sat next to me, and she told me I was really pretty. She sounded kind, and when we got down, she asked me to join her for a meal at her place. This was the first time someone was treating me nicely without knowing about my wealth. When I got to her mansion, it seemed like she was some billionaire herself. I met some girls older than me, and they all looked really happy. Apparently, the kind woman had given jobs to all of them and even let them stay here. I wondered if I could stay too, and to my surprise, she gladly accepted me. Weeks passed by, and all was good, until one day, the lady woke me up rudely at 3 a.m.
Dress up and get ready.
What? Why? It's not even sunrise yet.
What are you, a chicken waiting for sunrise? Be out already, or I'm gonna kick your lazy butt.
OMG. Suddenly, the fairy godmother sounded more like a Karen. She pulled me down to the main hall where the other girls had already gathered. And then she started explaining how we'd be breaking into some house to steal stuff soon. Wait a second. She was a professional thief? Oh my God. I couldn't believe I'd been living with a gang of robbers for weeks. I wasn't gonna be a part of this. I slipped away and used the old lady's phone to report her to the police. When they turned up to arrest her and the gang, one of the girls turned to me and said, "I always knew you didn't belong with a bunch of thieves. Here, take this, and go see this man. He's a very kind fellow who wants to adopt a daughter. And so I escaped and made my way to Mr. Hammond's address. And well, this guy seemed richer than old Karen. When a butler led me to him, I explained that I had no family, and some girl gave me his details, and he was overjoyed.
Oh my God, yes, I've been waiting to adopt a little girl. I'm so happy to meet you. And Crystal, that's such a beautiful name. Welcome to your new home.
And just like that, my life turned around. I was immediately led to a gorgeous room and given a brand new wardrobe. And when I saw the massive library in the house, I flipped. Oh, sir, you don't know how much I love books. All I've ever wanted is to go to school and learn as much as I can.
Well, my dear, that can be easily arranged.
He made a quick phone call and told me I'd be starting school next week. Was this for real? Even though he seemed lovely, I didn't trust him enough yet to tell him about my parents' money. I knew what that did to people. One morning, while I was still asleep, someone scared the heck out of me by jumping onto the bed. I let out a shrill scream, and then I saw a girl a few years older than me. She was screaming too. OMG, who are you and what are you doing in my bed? Dad! Dad? Mr. Hammond came running, and it turned out that the girl was his daughter, Pearl, who was now in university. I just came home to get some stuff. So what? I left and you adopted some ugly weirdo and gave her my room?
Don't be rude. And yes, I'm all alone now and I'd like some company. Now say hello to your sister.
Sister? Pfft, I don't know which slum you got her from. Just get her out of my room. She stormed off and Mr. Hammond apologized to me. It's okay. I know I'm ugly. My cousins made fun of my hair and eyes all the time. It's nothing new.
What are you talking about? Your hair and eyes are lovely. I only see a girl who's beautiful inside and out. But let me take you to a salon today. Those people will work magic with your hair.
And they really did. They trimmed and styled my wild hair and got my eyebrows done. And for the first time ever, I actually felt pretty. I was so happy, I hugged Mr. Hammond. Thanks, Dad. Wait, did I just call him Dad? Maybe I was starting to like him a bit too fast. I had an amazing first day at school. Everyone was telling me I was gorgeous. A few boys even said my warm brown eyes were adorable. All that was great, except when I got home, I found Pearl had moved back in. I decided I'd try to be friends with her, but she was impossible. I tried talking to her at dinner, but she just gave me silent glares. When I asked her to pass me the water, she flung the whole jug at my face. Pearl! What, Dad? She didn't want it on her face? Oops, my bad. One day during the first class, our teacher kept getting annoyed because of some croaking frog sounds. We all looked around and couldn't find any. Just then, a boy put his ear next to my bag and said, "I think it's coming from here." I opened the bag and dropped it immediately. A dozen big frogs jumped out, and there was almost a stampede with everyone screaming and running out. As the teacher fled, she tripped over a chair and fell down really hard. She hurt her arm, and I got a month's detention for my prank. This was all Pearl's doing, of course. I went to her room that day and asked her why she was bent on ruining things for me. Oh, drop this innocent face, Crystal. I know you're just some gold digger, and my dad is your target. Just because he's too soft and foolish to see the bad in people doesn't mean I am too. I'll make sure you don't get a penny of my wealth. She was crazy. All I wanted was a family. Mr. Hammond had a grand pool party planned, and I was so excited. My jaw dropped when I saw the guests arrive. Actors, singers, and other glamorous people. I was dazzled. Everyone was having a great time, but as some of the guests started to leave, we suddenly heard a woman screaming at the butler. "What do you mean you can't find my diamond ring and my husband's watch? I gave that stuff to you for safekeeping before going in the pool." The butler said he'd put all the guests' belongings in Mr. Hammond's study, but they were all gone. Everyone went crazy, and there was nearly a riot.
Ladies, gentlemen, please. Something like this has never happened before, and I assure you I won't rest till everyone's belongings are returned. You have my word.
As the angry guests went out mumbling and threatening Mr. Hammond, he ordered the servants to strip the house down. Only 10 minutes later, a maid came running with my backpack. She turned it over, and all the rich people's things fell out. Sir, Miss Crystal's bags were packed. It looks like she was planning to leave. I was horrified. Mr. Hammond looked shocked as I protested that I had nothing to do with it. Oh, Daddy, what did you expect from someone like her? I always knew she'd do something like this. We need to call the police. I walked up to Mr. Hammond and looked him straight in the eye. I know I'm just a stranger and not really your daughter, so you'll choose to believe Pearl's words over mine. You can do whatever you want, but just know that your kindness means far more to me than money or things ever could, and I would never do anything to harm you. Suddenly, Mr. Hammond took my hand. You are my daughter, and I do believe you. He turned to Pearl with a furious face. Pearl, if you don't want me to stop paying for your credit cards and cut you out of my will, leave now. I don't want to see your face till you've graduated university. Pearl stared at him in shock, then screamed angrily and left. I was so touched by Mr. Hammond's words, I finally decided to tell him about my inheritance and my greedy family. He was shocked, and the next thing I knew, he had legally adopted me, and we went in person to tell my family the news. Their faces were just priceless. I was the owner of my money now, and I had big plans for it. I set up a school for poor kids, and now I teach there whenever I can.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Since Dad left soon after I was born, it's just always been me and my mom. And I realized quite early on that she wasn't quite normal. On my 3rd birthday, Mom suddenly started running around like crazy and pulling the curtains shut. Then she blew out the candles on my cake and pulled me under the table. They're coming, Kelly.
Who's coming, Mommy?
Aliens, of course. We giggled quietly as we ate cake in our hiding spot. I thought she was pretty cool to make up funny games for me. Once when I was 5, we were at the park when suddenly she pointed excitedly at a man on a bench. Oh my God! See that guy, Kelly? He's your dad! Go hug him! I was so happy that I ran and threw myself at him, but he freaked out when I called him Daddy and quickly left. Just then, Mom came running after me, screaming, "How many times have I told you not to talk to strangers? And you're hugging one? Are you stupid?"
But, Mom, you just told me to.
She dragged me home, and I was so confused. What kind of a game was this? Well, things just got worse. Mom was getting crazier. When I was 14, I had a high fever once, and she took me to the hospital. The doctor was about to give me an injection when suddenly, Mom went bonkers. Oh my God, are you trying to drug my daughter? I'm calling the cops right now, you kidnapper! And then she attacked him. He had to call for help, and it took 3 people to calm her down. The doctor told me Mom might have a condition called schizophrenia, and I'd have to keep an eye on her as much as possible. I knew I couldn't look after her while I was at school. Since Mom had a teaching degree, I asked her to apply as a teacher at my school, and thankfully she was hired. But to be honest, I didn't want anyone to find out we were related. The next day at school, I was running off for a big baseball match when I bumped into Mom. "You're gonna be great, honey. I love you." "Thanks, Mom." And I ran off before anyone saw us. But 5 minutes later on the field, I heard someone on the megaphone, and I turned around in horror. "I said I love you, and you said thanks? That's all I get? I was in labor for 20 hours with you, you ungrateful jerk." Who's that crazy lady talking to? No idea. Come on, let's start the game.
I need to hear those words, Kelly.
Everyone stared at me, and I wanted to disappear. "Fine! I love you too, Mom!" As everyone laughed, I felt really flustered, and I played my worst game ever. Later at home, I was so mad at Mom. How could you embarrass me like that in front of the whole school? And now everyone hates me for losing the game. Kelly, I don't know what you're saying. What did I even do? Are you embarrassed of me? Do you want me to quit? Fine, I'll quit. And she burst into tears. I sighed. No, Mom, I don't want you to quit. I'm sorry, okay? Sometimes I felt like my mom's mom, and it was exhausting. The next day, as I was having lunch alone, the meanest girl in class, Linda, came over. Wow, your mom's quite the freak show. My uncle runs a circus. Want me to ask him if he's got a spot for her? Shut up, Linda. Don't test me. Jeez, can't you take a joke? Looks like crazy runs in the family. I pushed aside my tray and attacked her. But suddenly, someone literally picked me up and took me outside. It was a boy from my class, Jake. You should have let me break her teeth. Kelly, she's the principal's niece. She'd just get you and your mom in trouble. I just need a break from everything.
Well, how about we get out of here and do something fun?
I looked at his kind eyes and my heart raced a little. How had I not noticed he was so cute before? After that, we were hanging out together all the time, and soon enough, we started dating. One day, Jake and I were making out in the science lab when suddenly, Mom walked in on us. I was so sure she'd kill me, but instead, she smiled broadly. Oh, my baby girl has found such a cutie. I'm so happy for you. But anyone can walk in here, guys. The janitor's closet is a much better place.
Wow, your mom's so cool. Let's go to the closet then.
We'd only been there 5 minutes when Mom barged in with the principal.
See? I told you they were up to something. Didn't your parents teach you any morals?
Mom, what are you doing? Thanks to her, Jake and I were scolded by the principal in front of everyone and given a week-long suspension. But Jake had a party planned at his place the next night, and nothing was stopping me from going there. I sneaked out, and my jaw dropped at the size of his mansion. It also looked like he'd invited the whole school. But as I walked through the crowd looking for him, I saw something even more shocking. Jake was dancing with Linda, and they were looking deep into each other's eyes. What's going on here, Jake? He suddenly pushed Linda away.
Kelly, you're here, babe. I didn't know if you'd be able to come.
So what? You thought you'd just have some fun behind my back? What a jerk move!
Keep it down, Kelly. You're embarrassing me. And we were just dancing. Why are you acting crazy like your mom?
I can't believe you said that. We're done, Jake.
Kelly, I didn't mean...
But I didn't let him finish his sentence. As I walked out the gate, suddenly my shoe's heel broke. As I flung it aside angrily, I heard someone behind me.
Whoa, are you okay? Can I help you?
I turned to see a boy who was my senior at school.
I'm Ron, Jake's older brother. I've seen you two around. You're his girlfriend, right?
Not anymore! Ron listened quietly as I told him everything and offered to drop me home. On the way, we stopped for ice cream and sat on the car's bonnet, talking and laughing. He was really easy to be around. When he walked me to my door, he suddenly took my hand.
I had a good time, Kelly. And this may seem fast, but I've been really wanting to do this all evening.
And he suddenly pulled me close and kissed me. It felt amazing, and I kissed him back. Later that night, I suddenly sat up in bed when I heard someone tap on my window, and I was shocked to see Jake outside. What are you doing here? Go away!
I'm not leaving till you listen to me.
I was afraid he might wake Mom, so I let him in.
Listen, I'm really sorry. You're my girlfriend, and if Linda bothers you, I promise I won't go near her again. And I really shouldn't have said that about your mom. Please, give me another chance.
He looked so sincere, and I just couldn't refuse. As we hugged and kissed, all I could think was, oh my God, I just kissed my boyfriend's brother an hour ago. The next day when I went to school, I saw Ron walking towards me, and my heart skipped a beat.
Hey, Kelly, I was just thinking about...
Just then, Jake turned up and slipped an arm around my waist.
Oh, hey, bro. I see you finally met my girlfriend. I can't wait for you two to be buddies.
Ron looked taken aback, but he quickly managed to smile and walk away. But one other person looked really unhappy to see me and Jake together. Linda. After that, Jake and I would hang out at his place often, and Ron always seemed to be around, which was driving me crazy. This one time, we were all playing video games, and Ron was sitting so close to me, and he smelled so good. I could barely focus. Another afternoon, Jake and I went to their pool, and Ron had just stepped out of the water. I was so distracted when I saw him shirtless that I slipped. But Ron leapt forward and caught me just before I hit the ground, and I could swear there was electricity between us. If he felt the same, he didn't let it show. A week later, Jake and I had tickets to watch a big baseball game, but he felt really sick. I said I'd miss it too, but he insisted I go with Ron instead. And secretly, I didn't mind that at all. We were having a great time at the game. During the interval, we suddenly noticed people looking our way, and we realized that the kiss cam was on us. Guys, we're not together. But as the crowd chanted louder for us to kiss, Ron turned to me and smiled.
This is for the crowd, right? I don't know about you, but it wouldn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, me neither, duh. I'm not into you, like at all. Let's do this. I pulled him towards me and kissed him. The crowd's noise was drowned out for me because I was totally lost in this magical moment. All night, I kept feeling guilty about these feelings for Ron, but it was about to get a lot worse. As I walked to my locker the next day, I saw posters of me and Ron kissing stuck all over the walls with cheater written over my face. I saw Ron across the hall, and just then, Jake walked in. Oh, Jake, I'm so sorry you had to find out this way. It's not like it's even a secret.
They were kissing publicly. Seriously, your girlfriend has no shame. Jake turned to Linda. Why would you do this? I know it happened at the game. Ron told me. It's just a baseball game thing. Take down these posters. I thought a major disaster had been avoided. But suddenly, Mom turned up. Well, that's not the only time she's kissed that boy. Mom, you're confused. No, I'm not. This boy dropped you home one night and you two kissed. Wait, I have it in my notebook. Ah, yes. 21st August. The night of my party? You kissed my brother? And then you kissed me? And said we were all good again? Jake, let me explain. But before I knew it, he turned straight at Ron, and the two were wrestling on the floor. As two teachers rushed forward and pulled them apart, Jake shouted at Ron, "You backstabber! I'm never, ever gonna forgive you!" As the two were taken off to detention, I ran out of there crying. I felt terrible. I had broken Jake's heart, and worse, I ruined the brothers' relationship. I didn't go to school for a few days, and Mom kept asking me what had happened, but I couldn't even be mad at her. It was my fault, and I had to fix it. The next day, I went to see Jake. He looked surprised to see me, but not angry. Jake, I'm here to say that I'm really sorry. I know I've hurt you, but I never meant to, and neither did Ron. It was a stupid thing we did, but please, don't let it come between you guys. And then, Jake said he'd had time to think about everything, and he didn't even love me. He only felt competitive with his brother at first, but now he just wanted to end things himself. I know you're pretty, but you are crazy, just like your mom. And I am kinda into Linda. I gave him a hard slap on the face and left. The next day, I skipped off to school happily, looking for Ron everywhere. I finally found him, and I ran straight towards him and kissed him. Suddenly, we heard Mom speaking into the megaphone.
You didn't even invite me to your wedding? You ungrateful jerk!
Well, Ron and I are dating now, and it's the happiest I've ever been. We also took Mom to the doctor together and got her onto meds. And she's doing a little better.